course, I saw my physician, and they're so happy to give you benzos or an SSRI. And I'd been down that road before. I feel like I've tried so many other things. I mean, like all the natural stuff, right? I've tried all the herbal supplements and amino acids and like different minerals, different vitamins, and like sometimes high doses of those. And I did, some like energy therapy, like Reiki and that
Wow.
kind of healing work. And I've done therapy with a therapist, probably 5 different therapists over the years. It just felt like I was cascading down. Like each time I felt anxiety, it felt worse, right? I felt like I wasn't recovering. And I'm someone who experiences panic attacks. And so, like, I would actually feel adrenaline, going through my body at a time where it really wasn't necessary and needed. And it felt like it was like burning me from the inside.
Living Better podcast.
What's up, y'all? It's Ryan Morimoto here, and this is our show, Living Better. Welcome to Happier and Healthier You. And today we have Customer Appreciation Day with Cristy. Cristy, can you say hi, introduce yourself, and give a bit on your background?
Hi, yeah, my name is Cristy Jenkins. I live in Colorado. I work in content creation and marketing, and I found MAGU October of 2024, and it's been life-changing. It's really made a huge difference for me. One of the reasons I decided to try it is I was supposed to take a flight for work, and I hadn't flown in such a long time. I was like super nervous about it. I'd been dealing with a lot of anxiety. And that anticipatory anxiety, like the way you build it up in your mind, like, oh my gosh, what if this happens? What if that happens? Like, how am I going to handle this? How am I going to handle that? And a situation just becomes so huge in your mind that you're like, I don't know if I could do this. And so of course, I saw my physician, and they're so happy to give you benzos or an SSRI. And I'd been down that road before. I tried benzos, and like you feel so spaced out. You don't feel like you're in your body. You don't feel like
Right.
you're having clear thoughts. I remember taking one and feeling like I couldn't breathe. Like my breathing was so slow,
Wow.
and it kind of freaked me out. And I'm like, I don't want this. Like I want to feel like me, and I want to feel like I have clear thoughts, and I want to feel 100% myself. I want to have all my emotions, but I don't want this crippling like feeling of like, I just can't, I can't. So I came across an ad for MAGU, and I think it was your ad where you said, here's our worst reviews. And the worst reviews were like, this worked, but it was too expensive for me, right? That's like the worst review. So I'm like, wow, that's pretty impressive. And I think I listened to a couple interviews like this and listened to people's real stories, and sounded so much like what I was going through that I was like, what do I have to lose, right? I'll just try it. And I feel like I've tried so many other things. I mean, like all the natural stuff, right? I've tried all the herbal supplements and amino acids and like different minerals, different vitamins, and like sometimes high doses of those. And I did, some like energy therapy, like Reiki and that
Wow.
kind of healing work. And I've done therapy with a therapist, probably 5 different therapists over the years. And, had like results, had improvements, but nothing that was like, wow, that really made a difference. So the MAGU came super quickly. I tried it. And that first day, I kind of felt like, it's funny, I was sitting on the roof with my husband. We were putting a Starlink up, and
Oh, nice.
it was very nice. But I had been like in this really down place, just feeling like really disheartened, really discouraged. Like, why can't I fix myself? Why is this anxiety still here? What's wrong with me? Right? Those repetitive thoughts. And I had taken MAGU that morning, and I was on the roof, and I kind of was looking around at the sky, and I thought, this is incredibly beautiful. I just had this really positive mindset all of a sudden, right? Instead of feeling so down, I was like, wow, like the world's really beautiful. Like it's really cool being up here and seeing this view. And I just thought, that's different, right? That's different. And then from there, gradually. I just took it every single morning, and within a week or two, noticed I was doing things that weren't in the habit of my anxiety. So, like, I invited a friend that I don't know very well to go with me to town and run some errands, and wound up going into Walmart, which is like the number one place I would try to avoid because it was just like,
Yeah.
I don't know, the fluorescent lights, the crowd, the Walmartiness of it. And I went there and I was like, fine. And I didn't take anything. Like, I didn't have to take something to make me feel calm. And I was like, this must be working. Like, this is working. Um,
No,
so yeah, that's kind of like my story in a nutshell.
I appreciate all that feedback. You know, some things that jumped out to me that I hear from a lot of customers or people, right? Overthinking is a big one. I have that myself, like, oh, I got to do this, I got to do that. Oh, what if this happens? What if that happens? Can bring, you know, anxiety, stress for
Totally.
a lot of people. And it sounds like you tried a lot of different things. I too myself am doing therapy or have done therapy. Sounds like you even tried some supplements and medications. So it seems like you've tried a bunch of different things, which a lot of people do come to us saying, you know, like we've been on this medication or this thing for a long time and haven't found the fix. So, you know, sounds like you've tried a lot. You have a lot of you know, experiences of stress, anxiety that people have experienced as well. And then just to clarify for everyone else, have you also tried other like CBD products or other like holistic natural hemp or other supplements as well?
Yeah. Yeah. I actually, living in Colorado, CBD was here really early, I think.
Right,
And I tried a lot of different products from the health food store that had CBD, of different like potencies, different price ranges, some of them really expensive, promising this is like the one. And honestly, I never noticed anything with any of them. Just nothing. I had one that came in like a honey, and you would take it that way.
yeah,
And some were like candies, they'd come in chocolate. Um, I didn't notice anything. I even tried it CBD topically for pain, like
got
on
it.
joints and like after working out. I didn't notice anything. So I thought, this must not work for me, right? There must be
Right,
something with my chemistry that this doesn't work. So, um, yeah, and like I said, a lot of different herbal products, like herbal combination products you see being marketed where it's like, I don't know, maybe it's called Zen or something, and it's a bunch of herbs together and you'll try it. And I'm like, well, I mean, this is nice, I guess, but I'm not noticing it helping my system. And I think the difference is MAGU feels like I'm still me. I can still get nervous, right? I can
right,
still
right,
get angry. I can cry. So I'm not like a zombie or anything, but I feel like the alarm in my body is like soothed, right? So it
right,
just feels like um almost like my nerves were super frazzled, and now they feel like normal. So they feel like they're having normal transmissions, and I can have all the emotions, and I can get worked up and excited, and I can get really calm and go to sleep, and everything is like flowing really good, but I don't feel like sedated or zonked out or all the other side effects that can come with stronger even herbal medicines, right, where you can feel like,
right.
whoa, like I'm not really in my body right now. So yeah, that's the cool thing is like you go on with life as normal. And MAGU is the one thing I remember to do every morning because I'm like, I think I would definitely notice if I skip this, right? I might forget to take my multivitamins or whatever, but the MAGU is like every single morning I wake up, I take it with water and then start my day. So,
That's great.
yeah, it's made a big difference where I'm like, this is important for me to have in my life.
Yeah, that's great. I've gotten this question a lot, so I'm gonna kind of go off what you said and jump into the herbs versus CBD because some people have tried a lot of CBD and herbal products where Magu kind of blends things together is you know CBD is just an isolate one component of the hemp plant and versus our product is just the hemp plant by itself. So are you familiar with like terpenes and the endocannabinoid system?
Yep.
Right. Yeah, and I think you spoke on one thing there, which is like nerves, right? Where a lot of times when we have either physical or emotional things going on. Our nerves are overexcited. And like you said, we can't promise you'll never get angry again or never have anxiety again. But what that ECS systems does, the endocannabinoid system, right? Those peaks, like the
Yeah.
heightness, right, of the fear or anxiety might be a little bit lower, or if the duration, if it takes you a week to heal from a sprained ankle, maybe it goes down to 3 days, or if it takes you hours to
Yeah.
calm down, it may take you, 20 minutes or 10 minutes instead of the full hours. Or how do you feel about that?
I like the way you're saying it is totally what I've experienced, where it's like the word that comes to me is resiliency. I feel like my body's more resilient. So before it just felt like I was cascading down. Like each time I felt anxiety, it felt worse, right? I felt like I wasn't recovering. And I'm someone who experiences panic attacks. And so like I would actually feel adrenaline, going through my body at a time where it really wasn't necessary and needed. And it felt like it was like burning me from the inside, and then I'd have another anxiety attack and it just felt like it was building one on top of the other. And so I feel like Magoo has strengthened like my internal like sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems where I can just
Right.
I just feel like I'm like myself. I feel just normal, but more resilient. So if something comes up, I don't feel like I'm like just tumbling back down into that awful pattern of like building anxiety. I feel like I can flow with it better and um like adjust myself better. So if like something changes, I don't get anxious. I'm like, okay, I can deal with this. Like, yeah, so it's like it's almost like a support, like it's boosting you from the inside. It's helping to support my nervous system. Um, and I'm someone who I've had like genetic testing done. And so I have I think they're called SNPs
Mhm.
for patterns that kind of go down that anxiety road. And like my parents struggled with it. So I really believe that there's a component there with your personal DNA and how you're kind of wired. And so I feel like Magoo just supports maybe the places where my personal DNA is maybe weak, and why I tend to go down the anxiety road. And I just feel like it's like a bolster to just strengthen the places where my body's just not so great at maybe doing certain things or making certain neurotransmitters. But it feels like my body is the thing doing it. So unlike taking a pharmaceutical where I don't know, it just feels like
Got it.
someone else is taking over the controls. I'm still the one in control of my body, except I have this like, this armor now where I feel stronger in the world versus really vulnerable and like nervous of everything. Um,
Right.
so yeah, I mean, in a way, it's kind of incredible because I haven't come across anything else like this, and it's almost still hard to believe that something so simple, like one ingredient, and it's not like made in a chemical lab, or it's not like a bunch of things put together in a secret formula. It's like really simple. When you open it, it's super like natural, right? I mean, it smells like hemp. It's really potent and powerful smelling, and you just take this little scoop and um no side effects, right? So my stomach doesn't mind taking it on an empty stomach in the morning. It doesn't bother me. I There's nothing, right? There's no side effects at all that I've noticed that are unpleasant or bad or anything at all. It's just this natural plant that you take, and my body really likes it. So that's been amazing.
That's great to hear. And you said something important that I want to highlight, support, right? Like you said, if there's something that medicates us, it can put us down. But what we're trying to not only help with on the internal side with Magu and giving a support to people who have, anxiety and whatnot, but also there's other practices that we can be doing, diet, therapy, prayer, whatever it be, to have the support for us. And I think that's important on a holistic approach, as these things can come at us at any time of the day. You mentioned you you being able to go out with friends and do things again to get even more support out there. And you know, with other people, whether it be at work or, you know, with their significant other, being able to, you know, not only have that support, but an internal one as well can help elevate and get people to that next level. And, you know, people in a stressful state or an anxiety state, they may be hesitant to try something new. So
Yeah.
for you, you know, when you first saw this, were you concerned about anything before starting Magu?
Uh, I was concerned it wouldn't work. Probably that's the only thing. And I thought, well, there's a guarantee, but I was like, I'm willing to try it. The reviews were so good. And on that note of like support, like there's a lot of things I do just knowing that I deal with anxiety. So I practice meditation, I do yoga, I've done breath work, I've been done all these things. And I will say, when the anxiety is really bad, it's kind of hard to do those things. And so you feel like I should be working out, I should be going for a walk in nature, I should be meditating, but you're like, oh, like I can't do anything right now. And then you start in this cycle of like guilt where you're like, I'm not helping myself. I should be doing these things. I know what's good for me. I know I should be eating healthier. But I'm so stressed out. I can't, and I just can't motivate myself. So MAGU is almost like the key in the lock that lets you feel, again, supported enough to start the practices that help yourself. And so then you're on like, an upward spiral. Is there an upward spiral? You're like on a roller coaster, right? You're going up now because you're like, oh, I can do more. Like I want to go to the gym. I want to go for a walk. It feels really good to drink enough water and eat the right foods. And so it just improves more and more and more. So it's not like MAGU alone fixed everything forever, but it's like it's giving me the ability to avoid avoidance, right? To go out, to
Right.
leave the house, to do the things and prove to myself that was totally okay. Like nothing bad happened. I'm going to do that again. And so you start building on these habits. And that's something that nothing else has really helped me with. Even seeing a therapist where they're like, well, you really need to go out more. You need to you need to be with more people. You need to do the thing your anxiety is telling you not to do. But it's
Right.
so hard because you're like, I just can't, and you work yourself up and you do it. And so MAGU gives you the support to do the things. And then you see, well, this is getting better. The therapist was right. Like I should be going out more. I should be hanging out with people more and being social. And it
Right.
does. It gets better.
Right. You know, my wife and I, we talk about that all the time, right? Like that there's these times where she's like, oh, I want to do this thing. I want to go work out or I want to go, you know, see friends. And it barrier can feel high. So like what we've been working on, right? What something we wanted to do was, you know, okay, we not only we take the Magu, but we've been working on some connection and prayers and things like that. So
Yeah.
like having a habit stack, like you kind of mentioned, like if you're trying to get into working out, take the scoop, go work out. Or if you're trying to get into
Yeah.
meditation, take your scoop, meditate. We do prayer, right? So take your
Yep.
scoop, get into our prayer and things like that. So it these things can compound on each other if we're able to build upon it, right? And
Totally.
I think, you know, you shared a great experience, right? Like what you kind of were feeling before and a little bit of what you're feeling now to kind of circle it out for people who may be sitting on the fence, still unsure. What would you say to them about your overall experience and how you felt? What would you say to somebody kind of sitting on the fence to try this?
Yeah. I mean, I would just say personally, I'm really glad I did it. Um, I mean, it's kind of weird to say, oh, this will definitely work for you too. But I can just say from my own experience, I tried a lot, right? I mean, I tried a laundry list of things over years. Um, and and like I said, found some benefit, but nothing really substantial, nothing that made me stick with it. And this is going to be part of my life here on forward. I hope you guys are never going anywhere and the company is going to be around. Because yeah, this has worked for me. And there's a lot of science behind it. You can read it on this website. I read it there. I kind of tried it without reading the science. I was just like, whatever, I'm just going to try it. But if you're like, why is this working? Because that's where I went. My brain was like, why is this thing working? Is this really just one ingredient? Like, what is this really? And I read why, and it made a lot of sense, that when I went into the FAQs and kind of looked at that. So yeah, I would just say I would encourage you to give it a try because, like I said, I tried everything, and this really worked for me. So
I
that's
I appreciate that. Yeah, on our website we have, linked articles and different studies and things
yeah.
like that. The endocannabinoid system, there's always research kind of progressing over the years, and recently terpenes, the another component of plant, like the fragrance oils. A lot of people use like lavender for calming effect. We're finding these terpenes to have benefits. So our product having best of both worlds gives us that extra boost that we
Yeah.
need. So I truly appreciate your feedback, shout out, and everything like that. As we wrap up, any last words for the people?
Yeah, I would just say if you're on the fence, give it a try. Definitely. You have nothing to lose.
Yes, we have a satisfaction guarantee to help anybody out there with sitting on the fence. So this will conclude today's episode of Living Better. Be sure to like, comment below if you have any questions, share this with a friend that you might find value, and we'll see y'all next time. Thanks. Bye.